Hey there, so today I want to return to the wonderful world of entertainment, and today I want to pick up with that clown car that we're all particularly fond of, that little clown car that goes beep 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 when riding around 3 or 4 deep, yeah, that thing we call KickVic. Now today, while we're voyaging to the big top, what I want to showcase is what transpires when a narrative falls apart. You know, you have something that KickVic has gone and particularly fixated on, then of course it kind of turns into, well, a lie or a misrepresentation or something else blows it up, and all of a sudden they need damage control. Now the event that's being discussed here is one that for a day at least, it lived in infamy. You had KickVic latching onto it, saying that those people across the aisle, they are monsters, and how dare those people, how dare they go out and do something so heinous. What I'm discussing here, of course, is the fake swatting. You know, the one that everybody thought was real for a few hours, the one that you had voice actors and people in the periphery condemning, innocent folks out there for. The post that started it all off in front of you here. Da fuck, house got swatted. Thanks, Vic. So right there, thank Vic. This is a finger pointed at him. And it's not the only finger that has ever been pointed by this person. More on that in just a moment. Your fans are victim-blaming a-holes. So here you have a finger that is pointed at fans as well, relating it to that guy because that was an easy way to play. Spent most of the morning fixing my door and replacing the door. Police apologized and helped replace the door. I'm fine. Just pissed. It was at my rental house, not the one I live in daily. So you could see what happened here. Looks like a mess, right? A total freaking mess. Only this person was so lazy that they didn't bother taking down the original pictures. The ones that, of course, came up from 2016, and the original post was there, too. Now, what was interesting about this was the spin that was placed, whether that be from, say, a voice actor like Sean Schimmel, the guy who went out and actually compared Vic to a P, to the E, to the D, to the O, because of his interest in quote-unquote 12-year-old boys. Yeah, that guy went and said, this is still about me. I don't really want to apologize. Locked down his Twitter and on with it. Or maybe we should go out and we should look at Anime News Network. That place that went and said that they were a purveyor of news and they were a purveyor of truth. Yeah, they tried to go out and they actually tried to spin this as a report that was about vandalism or criminal mischief. You can see the way that this comes together. You can see the fact sheet and on. And when you look at that, yeah, the damage here, it was for criminal mischief, not a swatting as everything was relayed. It was kind of insane to see that promoted too. And even after that came out, you still had people. Like if you go out and you look at some of the discussion boards that are related to ANN, you got statements like this, still trying to say that, well, poor her, she was actually a victim. Man, those people out there, they're terrible. She got a call stating she was swatted or going to be swatted. So let's make it clear. So obviously, it explains why she said it. She called the police, and her reaction is justified to me. What exactly reaction is that? Posting old pictures online and saying, hey, this is the police kicking in my door, lying about that stuff, and blaming it on people out there that's somehow justified? You think that that person is trustworthy? It tells you that people, they are down with a specific narrative, and anyone else that has something to say, well, that says something too. I'm really disturbed by the people who went out of their way to get her number and prank call her. That's just bananas. So again, you see this person still turned in to a victim. Now, what's interesting about this is the spin that comes afterwards, where you have this come up. Looks like hashtag Stand dug up an archive of Samantha's post regarding the initial Funimation investigation, which is apparently an important piece of evidence against KickVic for reasons. Like, if anything, this would be damning evidence against Vic if it were to be introduced in court. If the corroboration is as strong as Samantha says, Vic would have a deep effing hole to dig his way out of. So this was the statement that Samantha had thrown out there about Vic. And you're going to see some spin to that in just a minute by Marzgurl. But look at what this person said. Look at what their statement was and what these people still want to cling to, just like they want to cling to news with the swatting. My personal thoughts on the investigation that Funimation performed was that it was very, very thorough and very professionally handled. I wonder if you say that because you feel it got you your way. When I gave my testimony last week and provided my information, I was met with respect, and the questions asked of me were very, very detailed. Oriented. So you give that information saying, of course, someone talked to you, but you lied about a swatting, but hey, why should that come up? Unless Funimation actually wants to think about the people providing said information, how they might be colluding on a narrative. Because you're definitely not trustworthy. That's for damn sure. But hey, I digress. Continuing. I've not spoken with any voice actor or actress in regards to the questions that were asked of me prior nor after. I was asked to give detailed testimony of several instances that other voice actors or actresses had stated I was involved with. After my testimony, I was informed that my testimony matched what was already documented. Dates, locations, other people involved, all were documented. We combed through a lot of information. To demand proof be given to the general public would mean exposing the identities of people who did not go public, would detail their personal experiences, would detail locations, dates, times, other people who had witnessed, etc. To demand proof means putting other people in the line of fire of internet harassment. You are all witnesses to the internet harassment that people who have come forward publicly are suffering. Don't you people know there are swattings going down? Oh, wait, never mind. Don't think about that. Don't think. Really, abort. Continuing on. To demand proof means that you want to expose victims who have remained unnamed, and that is cruel. But just to give you something to give you an idea of the type of information provided, I decided to provide you with a single sample of an incident. I refuse to give anything further. Names, contact information, full details, etc. had been taken out. So you see exactly what this person throws out there. They talk about an incident that they want to throw, and they give you this little sample here. So this is part of an email exchange I had with a manager of a Japanese idol singer the morning after an incident that followed my confrontation with Vic regarding introductions. The idol singer was very upset by Vic's advances after the altercation, and the manager spent most of the evening calming the Japanese idol singer down. So ask yourself, should you be privy to all the names, the contact information of various industry professionals, all of the details of the victim's experience? Hopefully this gives you an idea of the sensitive nature of information and documentation provided during the investigation, and you see why this information like this should not be public. So trust Funimation, trust people like those that go out and trust people that would put something like this in the public. Because, hey, that turned out to be really, really warranted, right? And, of course, trust people that there was no collusion because, of course, a person that would do that would never, ever try to go out and ruin anyone's life. Really, where do you think the end of the fake swatting thing would come? How far do you think they would take that? Would they pin that on someone else? I'm sure that they would. Over time, I'm sure that they would point the finger at someone they didn't like. But, hey, again, what do I know? So here's Marzgurl's answer to that. And look at the way that this is spun. And that's the whole point to all of this. The spin. the way that this keeps going. So I understand why people feel like they can't trust what Samantha says here anymore, because her swatting was at least partially untrue. See the spin there? At least partially untrue. Oh, you mean like the fact that it wasn't a swatting, number one, like the fact that she lied, number two, and the fact that there's spin afterward, number three? Yeah, partially looks like a flagrant out and out lie. But continuing on, although let's say she did participate in the investigation, I suppose you may have to take her testimony to them with a grain of salt. Oh, you think so? You think you might have to do that? Yeah, she's a proven liar. It makes everybody else look like damn liars too. But hey, I digress. Continuing on. But if there truly were as many other staff members or voice actors they spoke to, it'd be pretty hard to throw out everything else everybody else also told them. Why is that? If you are actually housing somebody that would come up with a lie that big, how many other people would collude on a narrative? How many other egotistical folks that want to be noticed out there? How far would they go? I mean, we didn't think that a certain Empire actor would go out and lie about a hate crime, and yet that's what we got there too, right? Continuing on. I know that there are those out there who say it's a conspiracy and that everybody in the company is stabbing Vic in the back, but we've learned that the investigation had started months before this all publicly went down, and only after public push did it wrap up and they made their decision. No, actually, they had gone out and said that it was inconclusive. That would have been the final, that end all. But there was the public push. You know, that push to put out items into the public sphere. They decided that they would take it further. Those people would. Well, Funimation made a decision based on that. You could definitely tell by the way that they did damage control related to that. And yeah, that says a lot. It says a lot about culpability. It says that people have been given enough rope to basically hang themselves with. But hey, you know, trust all those people too. That they were starting an investigation at all beforehand says quite a lot. Actually, it doesn't say anything at all. To have an HR department actually go in and look at something, it says that they thought that there were rumors out there that they might have to protect themselves from. That is the job of HR. They are supposed to protect the company. I mean, that is basic human resources, basic attention to detail for corporate lawyers. You know, if you involve them, 9 times out of 10, they're also going to get rid of somebody. But to say that he was actually seen as quote unquote inconclusive, that says a lot about it by itself. It says that the guy was actually valued up to a certain point, but then for some reason the company decided, hey, we need to do an about face and we need to cave in to public demands, which says plenty by itself too. More than anything, in my opinion, is it says a little bit about certain people out there maybe being held accountable as well. Because if a company wasn't going to make a decision and then you force their hand, yeah, you know, you've gone outside of the privacy of the institution and you've gone out, you've put out the information in the public sphere. Yeah, that says a lot. But anyway, let's finish this off. I don't know how much of Samantha to trust, but I'm still going to side with the idea that there was in fact an investigation and that more people than just Samantha were involved. So you're saying there that of course 1 liar outed, 2 liars outed, a dozen liars outed. Doesn't matter, because as long as there's more people will listen and believe. Definitely says something. And it definitely says something on damage control too, doesn't it? But anyhow, you let me know what you think on this kind of stuff. So if you like this kind of content, if you say to yourself, that umbrella guy, I love what you're doing. I love your channel. In fact, I'd like to get a tattoo of your channel right across my heart here because, man, it always beats for it. Oh, that's nice. Isn't that lovely there? Make sure that you sub. Make sure that you hit that bell for daily content. comment. And if you want to go further, if you want the channel to get a matching tattoo, so both of you are simpatico, we'll check out the links in the description. Ah, man, you know, one-on-one achieve, two hearts becoming one and all of that. Isn't that amazing? Also, if you want to leave comments, I want to check those out. You know, disagree, agree, I don't care. You know, you just put them in there. I like seeing what people think about this stuff. Closing, I want to do something that these folks, they all forget. I want to thank the people that make all endeavors possible, whether that's going to a YouTube channel, starting up some type of anime, whatever it is, the people that make it possible are you. So I want to do something they have forgotten. I want to thank those people. I want to thank you. So, sincerely, thank you for showing up. I appreciate that. And, well, we'll do it again soon. Thanks.